Coach Harrison here with the Great Lakes Baseball Academy. Now I'll be introducing the warm-up we're using for our sprint training. I think now is a good time for us also to let you know that if you have underlying health conditions, if you haven't done a lot of exercising, this isn't something you should dive into without the advice of a professional. You move into it slowly. But when we do this, we're going to go through and try to warm up each joint in the kinetic chain of sprinting to help get it loose and ready to go, because sprinting is a violent activity. If it's not violent, you're not getting fast. And so what we want to do is make sure we have your joints warmed up so that we can get as much out of the program as possible, as well as get you as safely through it as possible. So we're going to be starting out here going through our warm-up exercises with you. I've got my assistant, Mitchell Harrison, here today, and we'll go through each of our exercises. Again, make sure you're paying attention and working hard on these to get your joints loose and ready to go. We're going to start off with a 40-yard jog. Go ahead, Mitchell. Now we're going to do a 40-yard backwards jog. Go ahead. Our next exercise is going to be tippy toe walking. So Mitchell's going to come in and he's going to walk in on his toes. Go ahead. 10 yards, nice and high on those ankles. Again, working on the strength of those as well as warming up our tendons and calves. Our next exercise is going to be an extension of that. Now what we're going to do is make a triangle with your toes, Mitchell. If it's on the camera, you can see we're going to have our toes in. He's going to tippy toe walk on those, so he can walk and he can do work on that. He's working on stretching those ankles. Again, 10 yards, he'll walk through on that. Our next exercise is going to be walking on your toes with your toes pointed out. Okay, go ahead, Mitchell. Our next exercise, as Mitchell walks into the picture, is going to be on walking on the outsides of your ankles. This is one to be very careful of. We don't want to injure our ankles, but we're going to gently walk through. What we're doing is we're strengthening those tendons without putting too much pain in there. There should be no pain, actually. If you feel any pain, you can lighten this one up, but it helps strengthen that exterior. Our next part of the warm-up is going to be working with our ankles, our knees, our hips. And so what I'm going to have Mitchell do is I'm going to have him work on rolling out each one of his ankles. Should roll around 10 times each direction. Okay? Okay, why don't you switch and go the other direction with the other. There you go. We'll do this with both feet in both directions. Excellent. This is an exercise that you need to take the time to do. It's really easy to rush through. Next one, we're going to put our feet together and we're going to work on our knees. What I'm kind of thinking about, those of you who've done shoulder exercises, we're trying to hit all the points in the circles, 10 times around in one direction, and then we'll switch and go 10 times around in the other direction. If I'm doing it perfectly, my hips are staying pretty still and my knees are moving around. After you've gone 10 in each direction, the next we're going to do is warm our hips up. And again, now you think about your hips touching the outside of a hula hoop in each direction. Again, my legs are fairly straight, my hips are moving around, and I'm in a position where I love be hula hooping. 10 each direction, should loosen up, really gets those outsides of the hips loose, helps make sure that we're all in ready position to explode. Our next exercise, we're working on warming our trunk up. And again, you've probably done these since you were little kids. In a perfect world, I'm not probably in that perfect world, but my hips should be staying pretty still. As Mitchell turns here, I'm going to have him work on staying hip still. He's going to go 10 in each direction. So that's 10, good job. He turns and goes back. And you can see there's different levels of mobility, and Mitchell probably needs to work a little bit on his backwards mobility, and that's what we're trying to work on with these. So they're not just warm-up, but they're drills for range of motion. Next thing we're going to do is get our neck warmed up. Now we can roll our neck. Your neck is a very sensitive joint for most of you. It's going to be a situation where we want to make sure we're not trying to overdo it. We're just turning it nice and easy. We'll do 10 of them each direction, and then we're going to do a little stretch each way. I see people pulling on their neck. I've been told, and I had neck surgery, I try to avoid that. I'm going to stretch. If you want to just set your hand on there, you can see me barely touching it, but I'm not pulling. So I'm just going to do a little bit of a stretch for 15 seconds. Then I'm going to go the same way. And again, any pain, or you don't really want to feel stretch like you would maybe in your hamstring. Then I'm going to do my front. I'm going to do that without a hand on it. Stretch forward. And then I'll finish stretching backwards. And again, those are things that are range of motion things. Trust me, it'll help you over the rest of your life.